it being achieved. Easier said than done. The other point being the jungle support link up. Now that you've got a Talia as well as a Nautilus, it's going to be so much easier for benv to do those classical roams to mid and make sure that this LeBlanc Fahiri isn't able to 1v9. Let's load ourselves then into the rest for game number 2. Team Bliss lead after what was a phenomenal 42-minute affair. But GranZero run it back on the blue side to show us what they've got.
What's so interesting here, Skimmy, is that both supports have actually gone for the support item level 1. This is a lane where Kai'Sa and Nautilus you're expecting and wanting to fight early on, but neither Violet nor benv actually volunteering to take that item, and they will get the sweep, but it won't crucially kill the ward here. So no level 1 XP advantage for Kisei in the mid lane, and TP will be the choice of Summoner Spell for Scott on this farming Tahm Kench, saying that much like Lemus last game, even if you push me out of lane, I'll be right back in a flash.
They certainly will do. It really is all about being as aggressive as you certainly can. But I'm very keen to see just how much aggression we get pre-level 6. It was a tough order for the likes of Shern to find that pre-level 6 fight beforehand. But with Why Not now piloting the champion, will he get any invitation to do so himself? The lane that would seem the most likely in my mind would certainly be bot lane, especially if benv goes for a roam. He very much relied then on that Abyssal dive, Tongue Lash, or perhaps even, the center chains.
Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown potential around that bot side of the map. Even kind of every role for Team Bliss here, Why Not will have a decent time of being able to gank, but for the time being, we can see that the predictions not actually as, kind of one-sided as I would have thought there. I think Twitch chat very much in line with the fact that game 1 was basically a coin flip towards the end as to who was going to take that. Just here in the middle, Kisei getting aggressive, lands the combo here. Now keep in mind, this is a Doran's Blade, Jace. This is someone who wants to get that early combat power coming online. Won't have as much sustain as if he had gone for the Doran Shield, but so far, holding up all right. TN on the Aatrox obviously going to be having a nice little time with the lane as well. Has to keep in mind though that Why Not is pathing up here.
Yeah, need to keep that in consideration. I do look towards bot lane for a second, get to see that range mismatch, as you mentioned, really favour Violet as he's able to keep harassing as the bot lane of GranZero look to retreat away. But they've done a phenomenal job of building up a massive stacked wave, which they'll crash very successfully. As Lemus will cop a bit of damage as he retreats on out to plant a wall to keep eyes in the sky as to where this Nocturne could be roaming towards next. But as you said, it is Violet picking up the support item to start with, right? And it seems to be a bit of a common trend where if they're not playing this double harass spot lane, like a Varus Ash, for instance, with double Hail of Blaze or whatever it may be, then you don't need the double, Doran start.
And I think especially with the way that, Senatarm wants to play the lane, it is to scale, right? They don't really want to be taking those 2v2s very often. As for the time being here, they will get the bounce. Now the question is do they ward this bush here? They will now. They'll find Shernfire. Scott might be able to force a flash.
What is that hook? Nautilus once again, crazy shenanigans on this champion, threading the needle and finding a way to pull Scott out as he burns the flash to safety. Becomes a little bit more susceptible now, a little bit harder for him to do the majority of this farming. But it was a good little pick, and certainly does mean that Shern can put more of his attention towards this lane, or perhaps actually protect Kisei, who, as we saw briefly before this fight broke out, was forced to actually go back to base.
Yeah, Hayrie just getting the better of him in the 1v1. Now, they both will expend the teleport, so not a huge advantage picked up either way. But like you said before, the Tahm Kench flash going out is kind of the important cooldown. He has TP, but keep in mind, as long as the wave stake continues to push towards the bot lane of GranZero, they will be feeling pretty good, especially if they can get a repeat gank. Now, question is, can they hold this wave? I don't think so, especially with Violet having all the health bar in the world and Why Not being on this side of the map. But it is something to keep your eye on here. Is a little bit of training onto benv. Hook's on, but I don't think they want this fight.
I don't really think that's a fight that benv's too happy about, because yes, it looks good in isolation. You're going to try and threaten another flash being burnt, but ultimately he realizes that I'm on the receiving end of a bad trade that I'm not going to be too happy with. No TP this time for Lemus to treat his way back to this lane as it was on that Smolder. And they're the ones now receiving the crash and the trade from afar.
I mean, that's the #1 rule of weak side in League of Legends, is you don't trade when a huge wave is pushing into you. You can see now that they're not going to have the health bars to actually be able to push that out, whereas Team Bliss, they can always just recall the Tahm Kench, get him back. For the time being, that little bad trade is going to mean they're stuck in lane here under their turret, and what was once an advantageous situation for Ground Zero is going to lead and change into priority for Bliss and his first dragon.
Yeah, certainly playing around the sides that are strong for either jungler right now, with Tien really bringing it to Biopanther. Yes, their CS is matched, but you can certainly see that Bio had to burn that TP nice early as he was dropping dangerously low despite having that innate Gregor sustain. Not enough, sorry, to excuse that of the Aatrox. But the first dragon then going for Bliss is going to be a nice one. Cloud Drake taken off the board nice and early as they can work their way towards something a little bit stronger. But Kissei still is inviting pressure and baiting for Schoenfire to threaten with that shove.
It's just so hard, though, for this duo to be able to lock down someone like a LeBlanc. Jason, Talia, yes, they're fantastic at pushing the tempo of the game, but in terms of the lockdown they have, not going to be able to find it. Benby, though, however, will be threatening enough lockdown to force the flash out from Hayri. So nice little roam up like you drew so much attention to. Benby really is one of those players who is willing to just walk mid at the most unsuspecting times. And this time finds the summoner as his response. And up in the top lane, you can see not much of CS going in the favor of anyone here. Aatrox versus Gragas, pretty much a who can team fight better matchup. That being said, Bio kind of will be expected to go towards that semi-tank, semi-AP build with the Rod of Ages into a bit of AP in the Cosmic Drive. And much like we saw Zoranus do the other day, really just be this nuisance in team fights.
Yeah, very, very frustrating to try and deal with, right? Because you're so tanky but so strong at the same time too. And the ability to make sure you stay on top of the key targets and really offer a fair amount of lockdown, which is exactly what Schoenfire's doing for the spot lane, right? Revisiting where he forced that flash before, advancing their positioning, makes it very easy then for Violet to go inside that mist, but say, look, get away from my support who's staying to the wave. Really saying, look guys, I'm dead here. There's nothing about it. But then some way, Benby steals the kill away. Surely it not an ignite.
Benby, why'd you take the kill? Either way, it will be first blood going over to Ground Zero. Like you said, really just picking on that flashless time Ken. She tried to use the Abyssal Dive to get out of harm's way, but Benby was there with that auto attack to make sure no escape was possible. And Schoenfire on this Talia, we expected him to get active early, and he absolutely is delivering there. Scott, the flash will be back up soon, so not really much potential for a repeat of that exact same play. But certainly nice to get some gold in your pocket. In fact, Skimmy, Schoenfire didn't even get an assist on that play. He was busy zoning Vard that entire time, while it was Lemus and Benby who picked up that kill.
Which, as you say, I'm glad you raised it, is the biggest tragedy of it all, because you've, you've paid your laners a fair bit of attention and said, look, I want to be rewarded from this time invested, because you know that a Nocturne can certainly look to try and keep pace with you for the early portion of this game. Does feel pretty bad, but silver lining being, as you say, they can be at least glad that the first blood gold goes their way. Was the case in game one. Let's see if it provides a different outcome.
Nice little adaptation to the pathing here for Schoenfire. He realizes that because one had spotted on Krugs, they may look to have something with Biopanther cooked up here. So we'll just be hovering towards this top side with Weaver's Wall available. Now says the TN, okay, you're going to play weak side for a little bit while I go clear my camps on the bottom side of the map. So kind of like game one, a very slow affair, at least to start. You know, once these objectives do start coming online, with second spawn and the Void Grub soon to come, you do imagine that both of these teams will be very willing to fight. And really, it's been the mid lane that Team Bliss have found the most success with here. Harry kind of bullying out Kissei on multiple occasions here with this LeBlanc. And if there's anyone you want to get fed nice and early, it's certainly that man in the mid lane.
So Liez, both have shown that on their day they can really become a bit of a 1v9 terror and really get the job done for their team, as much as we highlight the prowess of the likes of Lemus and Violet. Their mid lane counterparts are definitely right there to answer the call when called for too. As we say that, one it jumps into effect topside straight away. Out comes the flash from Tien, taking little to no chances in that occasion. Can peel away to look for the second spawn of these grubs, but Ground Zero in the area.
Really nice flash there from TN to be able to avoid that kill coming through. And that's some big cooldowns expended. I mean, yes, you do use the flash, but you've used both your ults from Gragas and Nocturne, and that really difference in combat power is going to enable Ground Zero to get started on these Void Grubs. Keep in mind as well, Benby's in the area. He will always be around. So this time, Ground Zero looking to pick up more than just the 3 that they had in the previous game. Looking to pick up 4 and maybe even all 6 here. One not looking like he wants to get involved anywhere near the pit. So So a very good start here for Ground Zero. 800 gold. Not the biggest lead in the world, but you can see that now top lane starting to fall in terms of their favor in CS. Sundered Sky picked up, so not the traditional Aatrox Profane Hydra build that we've been seeing. But I think with this team comp, you do value the frontline Sundered Sky gives you.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this a few times, right, where we've seen this champion utilised across the playoffs. It's the case of, while she might be stronger individually, you want that little bit of extra innate sustained, be it tankiness, from the HP gained. And I mean, Schoenfire's going to have to be a very happy camper. 6 stacks for his team to utilise as that damage becomes even more profound for his laners to utilise. I mean, Kisei's finding opportunities now to bully back Harry, and with those small windows, especially when TP's not available, those plates and those towers are gone.
Yeah, Jace and Aatrox both really nice champions at killing turrets because they both have their ways of getting an auto attack reset in. Obviously, with the Sundered Sky build, not going to be nuking them like a lethality Aatrox would. Keep in mind bot lane here. Benvy's sitting on a ward here, but Hooks otherwise.
Looking to see if they can find themselves a response back as one flashing out of the minefield, taking no chances in this one. Really wants to focus their attention towards the second dragon, which actually resets. Out goes the Dawning Shadow across towards the Stalks Harry, but he's not able to find the one-shot to Surefire that he was hoping really to get. Benvy jumps in, hits the 2-man depth charge. Even he is forced to flash to safety. They're all limping away, broken, bruised, and battered for worse. But no one dies, and one returns to the Drake.
I mean, how does no one die there? It's almost inexplicable, but Ground Zero, like you said, will be forced away from the Drake there. Really just kind of corralled into a little choke against Senna, who does so much damage, both the Q and the ultimate, finding heaps of value. And ultimately, it's Hayri who comes across the wall with a distortion, not able to find the kill onto Schoenfire, but he is very close. And now Team Bliss, quite early on, only 12 minutes, will pick up their second dragon. They're on pace for a 22-minute Infernal Soul.
Yep, they certainly are. Two teams, once again, very evenly matched when you look at the overall goal. Very much like that start in Game 1. The two clearly different win kilns for those objectives. Nice little blast cone to run away from that one. It's a seismic shove, would have been a bit of a nuisance. But, I mean, it really is just that mid-jungle link-up, rather that jungle support link-up working so beautifully for Ground Zero. And for the most part this series, Scott's not been able to keep up or match.
Hold on, though. The paranoia's coming through. Weaver's more to dodge it. Benby might be in danger.
Certainly could be in danger. He burnt that flash prior, but he doesn't have it now. But is he able to walk away? He certainly is. I mean, the rest of his team is here. In jumps Lemus with the killer instinct. He's hunting for the kill. The chains don't connect, and Violet cops a massive shield from that Devour. The hook goes out on cooldown. Benvy once again looking to try and zone as best as he can. But where is Lemus going? As Harry just takes him, acting as if he is just a simple wolf cat. The shield and the healing simply not enough there from Violet, who's also forced to flash. But a flash that nets them nothing. And the Schoenfire show, it's in full effect.
It absolutely has resumed. Schoenfire picked up 2 kills there, even through the flash of Violet. Not able to create the distance. What started as a Team Bliss pick, ultimately, they didn't have the people in position to be able to capitalize. We can see once again here, really heads up Weaver's wall from Schoenfire to get himself out of that Nocturne ult and the paranoia. Benvy hooks in. Yes, he gets chunked, but this is an Aftershock Nautilus, incredibly tanky. Lemus going in and skimming. This feels very personal, the way he just flashes up here for why not to get the kill. And on the back end, you can see bot side, it's a slow chase onto this Tarm, who's very tanky. But Ground Zero, they have the DPS, they have the ability to find these kills, and Schoenfire with the empowered Q here. Var's just not expecting this damage, and he will fall down for Schoenfire's second.
Certainly did get caught off guard there, and really works in Ground Zero's favour. They've already got a comp built to do obscene amounts of poke. If they bully you away, they get to profit by utilising those 6 Void Grubs to take more and more towers. It becomes a never-ending cycle where Bliss say, I'll be strong enough to all in and find that kill. Because you're looking at Harry, you're looking at Why Not. If they can't kill, then there are warning signs already. Thankfully, Why Not gets that one. Finds a fantastic shutdown. Harry then realizes he's surrounded by multiple members, and has still shown a way to safety is enough in the end, because the Devour can reach him across that barren pit.
Harry is toying with his food here as Ground Zero. They might want to get something back, but I don't think they have the health bars to actually be able to contest this Rift Herald. And that really is just an individual mechanical masterclass there. You can see finding the initial combo onto Schoenfire, flashes the dredge line to be able to get into position to land that W to kill him. And ultimately, a really important pick there. You can see Ground Zero, they were starting to get a little bit of a snowball rolling. But as soon as it starts to roll, it will be immediately shut down by the nice work of Hayden.
Yeah, immediately stopped dead in its tracks and allowing Team Bliss to continue working towards their overall win condition. And this is a nice pickup, right? I think if you say you've got 6 scrubs with a Herald, we've seen Antic do it, right? And it has been so disastrous to try and wrestle back any lead as a result, because you get 2 towers and Bio chocks out the ultimate. Not going to find anything. Well, you've, what do they say? You've got to buy a ticket to win the lottery.
Yeah, odds not going in his favour there. Unfortunately, he tried to get a little bit frisky on towards TN, but so far, you know, nothing really much happening around these 2 top laners. It has been the bot side of the map where all the action that we have seen has unfolded. And with a minute left on this Dragon spawn, you would imagine that it will be a similar affair here. We mentioned Benvi and Schönfire linking up. Something that they're looking to do once again here. Hayri, we saw in that previous play, so difficult to actually lock down, especially if he's got Scott in the area with that Devour ready. So it really does become a game of cat and mouse. Who finds who first? And Hayri just putting the poke onto Schönfire.
And who, in that same conversation, Max, can lock each other down, right? Because it's so annoying to deal with this LeBlanc who jumps in and out and really forces out cooldowns like that shove or even the hook. And they end up getting wasted, really opening up a very small window in which Bliss can then capitalize. But still, Ground Zero playing from ahead, which they certainly should do, as they utilize all this aggressive vision control, who set up a trap, waiting for somebody to go and lurk into the jungle. Not going to find anything just yet, but may try and prey upon Harry in the bot lane, who's going to go for that recall. And he's going to get away.
Both top laners, both solo laners rather, from Team Bliss do have the TPs though, so they can certainly join this play. And Ground Zero, they got the setup done very early, so they kind of ceded the priority in terms of wave control. Limus here will now pick up this mid wave, but this is the ideal spot that Ground Zero wants to be in with this composition. They want to be in this darkness, throwing out poke. And now, how do you walk in? Team Bliss are going to try to answer that question, but the Dragon's already low.
Dragon is low. It's looking like he's going to be picked up here for free by Ground Zero, as Tien on the right-hand side looks to try and keep them interested with the World Interactive. His lifesteal is pretty obscene. Very hard to shut him down, so he flashes into effect and says, let's shut this center down. The Dawning Shadow comes off, the Piercing Darkness is there, and as we say that, the lights come back on, and Bliss realize we're simply getting out. They've taken one, but need to run away because Schön is hunting down a triple with his sights. Instantly in goes Limus as he takes down 2. And they're going to be very happy with that one, because if you're running away, you're not answering back, and the poke gets to flourish.
I thought Team Bliss were going to be able to just walk out there, but it's Schönfire who says no. Decisive use of the Weaver's Wall to continue to play, and that yields them a bunch of kills on the back end. Now they secure the Dragon, they stop that soul condition from coming online. And let's take a look once again. So they're trying to walking in here as a unit, but they're so late to the party that the Dragon is just dead. They turn onto TN kind of as a secondary prize, but this Aatrox has a lot of CC reduction. Going forward with the flash, almost kills Violet there. They're not able to get him. But then look on the back end here. Limus zoning off Scott here on the side. Benvi flashing forward, forcing one to go over. And really here is where it all goes wrong for Team Bliss. Schönfire dashing in, only picked up the initial one. Limus dashing in to get the second. And a nice Q to find Violet as a result. Kisei flashing over to take out his counterpart. And really it's a big gold swing in the favor of Ground Zero.
Once again, as you say, it was looking like Ground Zero's game for what felt like a very long portion of that one. But we mentioned before just how strong this jungler is. Well, Schönfire reigns supreme at the top of the table, nobody even close, as he shows just how good a carry-style jungler can be. It is quite refreshing when they pop off, right? Be it the Talia or the Brand, for instance, and get him a chance to deviate away from just engaging like a Vi or a Zin, or even a Maokai to that extent. But amongst a sea of blue, he's a lonely LeBlanc. Harry looking to try and do all on his own.
He can find so much value in this game, though. That's the one good thing about playing against the poke comp is LeBlanc, who really does like playing against these squishy champions. Certainly gets her time to flourish. Now will be up in the side lane, but always has one up behind her with that paranoia if needed. So feeling very safe about her position there. Meanwhile, top lane is only 1 assist each. Really hasn't been the most involved game for either of them. And 8 seconds here on this Baron. Now, this isn't as much of a threat this game. One, because Bliss don't really have the biggest DPS threat to be able to take this down in Ground Zero. They simply don't have the health bars to be able to tank something like a Baron Nashor. but still the vision control will be utmost. You can see 2 items on board for the carries of Ground Zero. Now, as Zonya's completed for Schönfire, this is a really big pickup because he's going to be able to negate a lot of that engage that's going to be, you assume, directed towards him.
Absolutely. As you say, if he goes in and looks to try and run members down, utilising that gold advantage, he can look to really immune a fair portion of what Bliss's Pomp is built to achieve. They're going to turn things around, and with the Baron spawning, as you say, summon the Herald eventually in the mid lane to crack that one open and find yet the second turret of the entire game. Nocturne comes out to play with the Weaver's Wall, breaks off his retreat. The Devour has to be used and Scott flashing, but a little bit too late. Lemus now finding his third of the game. Sitting on that 2-item spike, he's incredibly strong. Multiple flashes being burnt, so Lemus says, let's jump into the backline, but the blast code is so big that it actually gets Why Not away. Lemus then will turn his attention onto Violet, and unfortunately for him, Senna doesn't have that same level of mobility.
Just so much nice micro coming out of Ground Zero. The Weaver's Wall to seal up the flashless Nocturne who's coming out of the Rift Herald, and then Lemus flashing forward to get the auto, pop the Plasma onto Violet that enables him to use that killer instinct. And now skimming, finally Ground Zero, they'll get a Baron that isn't stolen.
Yeah, it is. It's a guaranteed one, no contest whatsoever. We'll run it back on the replay because initially it's a good play from Bliss, looking to try and showcase their skill set, but Ground Zero lock it down straight away.
Yeah, and also the depth charge from benvi there, knocking up Why Not really early onto the play, so he's kind of CC'd very close to the turret, means he has to fully commit to this retreat. And that's the flash I was talking about there. Yes, ultimately Why Not gets out, but it puts Violet in no man's land. You say as well, using that particle acceleration gate to get Violet, rather Lemus, in range to pick up Senna, and now 5,000 gold lead in hand. It was a pretty similar spot last game, and Team Bliss did manage to find a way back. This time, can they do the same?
It's a much bigger task this time around, right? They've been unable to really try and involve the majority of their team, but benvi once again finds another hook. Why not? It's the ultimate, but never really threatening an engage of his own, more so a deterrence, which seems like an oversight right now as Harry jumps across the wall, tries to find what he can get. As the Seeker's Arm Guard has to be burnt nicely, Elite flashes the body slam away to try and corral them into an awkward situation. benvi hits the wall, the bomber goes out, disengage that fight and run for the hills because yes, Ground Zero is strong. They've got a Baron siege with 6 Void Grubs, but they say, forget that, we want kills instead, that's what matters. And that's what they'll find as Bio is baiting him as long as he can. Tiented enough, flash on through, and he can't find it. The Devour is the clutch factor.
benvi wanted that kill so badly throughout the entire fight, as I might have to hold my thought here. Why Not does have flash, but is being chased down by Schönfire. 3 levels his superior. He's got the blast cones in his favor, and that might just be enough to get him out, but he's still looking, and there's a TP to come from Kisei as well.
Yeah, they're really making sure that no person gets away, no stragglers are left behind, but they turn their attention straight to Schönfire, who instantly burns that Zonya's item advantage, and he comes, and he doesn't survive, he dies! Why Not with the Triumph proc is enough to give him a little bit of life back, but only to spoon feed the kill across the Lemus, and then that poking duo hunts in blindness, looking for where that low HP LeBlanc is.
Ground Zero are so bloodthirsty this game. You could see kill after kill really was their objective. But that will give over this dragon control, at least for the time being, to the side of Team Bliss. Now, with Why Not dead, you would assume that Team Bliss do want to wait a little bit before starting this one up. You can see Ground Zero very willing to push their lead. Smiles in the camera as they're having a good time. And with how strong your Kai'Sa and Jace are, why wouldn't you be? It's such an easy combo to execute. All you have to do is really stand around the objective, wait for the enemy to walk in, and then just completely obliterate them with those Kai'Sa Ws and Jace Qs. And now, a very similar setting to last time. Schönfire and Why Not the last members to arrive. But this dragon is going to be the focus here.
It certainly is, Max. Let's see how these teams decide to set up for it because the lights go out once again. Time and time again, it's Why Not starting these fights up. They isolate out Kisei, remove that poke from the very get-go, and you will simply flourish as a result. That kill is to be found by the Nocturne as he is going to meet his demise as a result in the end, as Tien on this Aatrox is an absolute weapon, a bruiser who is in and out in a jiffy, and they say enough is enough, they have no spite, pick up the dragon.
You get Kisei, but what does it cost? It's absolutely everything for the side of Team Bliss. They really overdive, and that leaves Scott and Violet alone. Lemus just shredding through this Tahm Kench at this stage, and Tien in the backline, like you highlighted, just has so much value against the top side of Team Bliss. With that Merc Treads, with those Sundered Sky, he's so tanky. And let's take a look once again here. So the call is to fully commit onto Kisei with Hayri, Bio, and One on even the Dawning Shadow over the top. And I mean, yes, you get him, but he buys heaps of time and really forces Bliss to miss position in order to do so. That results in 3 kills off the back and an Infernal Soul. So all this damage, all this gold lead now really starting to stack up in the favor of Ground Zero.
Look, and I wanted to play devil's advocate with you for a second there, Max, and question sort of the efficacy of that Baron use, because in terms of the gold achieved, it was very minimal, right? They valued the hunting of picks instead of actually utilizing their strengths and didn't actually decide to siege much at all with it. But ultimately, they're just saying that all we want is kills because we want to make sure that the likes of Kaiser and Jace become so strong that we shut down any kind of comeback that Bliss are hoping for.
Hold on.
Hold on indeed, because in the mid-wave is what they're exactly going to get. Can you say Caster Curse is a thing? Because I've just seen it in living proof. A 7-1 Kaiser now becomes 7-2. In jumps Scott, the fed Tahm Kench support, but not fed enough to endure all this pain, or is he? Because the Piercing Darkness is enough, it gives him just enough HP, but then Tien says, so if you've forgotten about me, look how much he does. Once that World Ender is active, another hook goes out and another kill is found. They flip back 2, but it is a 1-for-1 so far. And Tien just breaks the tether. Hayri just hangs on. And it becomes League of Stopwatchers once again as Tien really, he's just going to 1v9. He's going to kill them all.
I mean, what is happening, Skimmy? I really don't know. Hold on, Hayri. He's so low, dangerously close to falling down on both sides there. But really, Ground Zero managed to salvage that play. Lima's just alone on mid-wave, doesn't respect the Nocturne ult. Gets shut down to start that fight. Keep in mind that whole sequence was without their Kai, so let's see it once again. Limas really, I think, might just not be looking at his screen there. Gets caught off guard and taken down, and then Ground Zero. They're not content with letting their AD carry go down for nothing, so they want to bring the fight out. You can see all this damage onto Tahm Kench. He's not even able to burst down. And the TP coming through from Bio really signals the commitment going on to this fight. You can see Shenfire in the backline getting so much value. He has a fantastic E later on to really secure what could have been a disaster. It's that right there, the stun plus the shove onto 2 members of Bliss. And Skimmy, I really don't know how to analyze this. This is just players playing like it's solo queue, playing for kills. And that Talia E, even after death, finding value.
You're going to see Harry meticulous in his attention there, really threading the needle between insanity and pure perfection. His second most played champion is this LeBlanc, and he's giving us a bit of a masterclass in it right now with a career 70% win rate. He is hoping to turn the tides of this situation, down by 6,000 gold. Only 1-1-7, but in a similar boat for game 1 is that Talia. As out goes the hook once again, the full combo into Biopanther, and tanky you may be, but just simply not enough. The Zonius was not available. And Nocturne's Paranoia may not be enough to prevent anybody else falling on down because Tien's just flashed into the backline and crashed them down with the Q. It's too much to bear. They're playing a poke comp, but they're winning with Engage.
They've got a poke comp, but they also have a bolt wave here. There's 30-second death timers, but this wave's very close to the tier 2 turret. They're not going to head to the Baron straight away. They're just going to settle for this massive injection of gold. But once again, the death ball of Ground Zero working out. This time they lay in wait. Benby with the hook into all the CC and damage you could want. Even Biopanther doesn't have time to pop that. Sonya's taken down immediately. And now it'll be 2 inhibitors going over to Ground Zero. A 12,000 gold lead. They are looking to make this a series.
They certainly are, Max. They really are at that point, because what was a 5k lead held on for such a long time. Back and forth we went, but finally now some complete separation between these two. It does almost feel like the Nautilus difference at this point. The ease of execution in which Benby gets to operate.
Well, Bio is like your tankiest member. He's the best one that you want to send face checking, and plain and simple, oh, this play from Tien, I have to start talking about it because he knows that Scott is preoccupied, right? That's why he thinks he can go forward, because there's no Devour to come through. And just massive Aatrox damage. I mean, yes, he's not the lethality variant, but even still, a level 16 Aatrox is certainly going to be a threat to your backline carries. And now with these 2 inhibitors online, all this poke as well, they really can just bait this Baron. It's exactly what they're going to do now. How did Team Bliss respond? We saw how badly it went when they walked in last time. And with how quickly this is going down, I don't even know if Wynot's going to be able to get in.
No, they're running out of options. They simply are. It's all been a Nocturne to try and start these fights off. Scott has had invitations, same for Biopanther, but it's not been enough to try and outplay the composition that Grand Zero put together. They've only left Tien on the Baron. They've held it down to 3,800. They don't want to have that 50-50 flip. It's opened the door for Team Bliss to fight back despite that 10k gold deficit. And so far, it is that 1-for-1, but Tien still being alive is a good promising point. But Harry finally finds his second kill of the game, gets an all-important shutdown,
Linus?
but not before Linus showcased just what double digits look like. 12-2 to get the ace.
Oh, I thought it was going to be another Ground Zero team fight. They have all the lead in the world, and despite losing out early, they are going to find the fight. Lemus with a massive dive into the backline to seal that, and with their TP into the base, 26 kills in hand. Ground Zero, they're not going to go quietly. They're going to even up this series.
They certainly are, Max. They've really picked the pace up here in game at number 2, saying we don't want these long, slugged out fiestas. We don't want 5 games of full